Hello everyone, this is the broadcast team of 6 Digits World Cup 2025 and we will be bringing you some interviews from the players in the tournament.
Всем привет, дамы и господа! Вы смотрите 6WC 2025. С вами Филоксен, и сегодня в гостях у нас будет капитан Украины Wannabe Рицу. Привет, как твои дела?
Привет. У меня замечательно все. Отдыхаю, не
Ну,
рыпаюсь.
отлично. Тогда, думаю, приступим к самому интервью. Слушай, ваш следующий матч будет в лузер-брекете, и если вы проиграете, то вы вылетите с турнира. Как ты чувствуешь себя перед матчем против Польши?
Ну, если честно, немножко волнуюсь, но так-то думаю, что все ок будет. Ну, типа, скорее всего, матч будет близкий, но, в принципе, не особо пугает это.
Хорошо.
Меня больше пугает скеджул матча, чем сам матч. Вот.
Ну, удачи с этим. Мы знаем, что это для тебя уже не первый раз, когда ты играешь country-based турнир. Можешь, пожалуйста, рассказать про свой опыт в команде Украины на 6 ЕЦ?
Ну, если что, это был первый мой турик тогда. Я вообще ни за что не шарил.
Ага.
Вот. Чисто залетел на трояуты, потому что ты мне написал. Вот. Я тогда на поезде ехал обратно домой и вижу, что мне имейл приходит. Но так, типа, мне понравилось, хоть и я не особо выкупал, как нужно правильно, типа, тренить мапы, как нужно правильно подготовиться к матчу. Но, в принципе, мне очень зашло.
Класс. В описании твоего профиля есть интересная строчка одна. Там написано «My Lifesaver», и если нажать на нее, то тебя перекинет на забавное YouTube-видео для тренировки пальцев для геймеров. Можешь, пожалуйста, рассказать, как ты вообще пришел к этому и насколько хорошо тебе помогают эти упражнения в ОСУ?
Ну, как раз-таки после 6 я из-за того, что очень много играл ХБПМ, там ДТ2, НМ5 постоянно на него выходил, то у меня начались траблы с рукой. Вот. И чтобы это пофиксить, я как бы искал видосы в интернете. Ну и вот нашел этот как раз-таки. Вот. И
Хорошо.
начал почти каждый день тренить, и, в принципе, помогло.
Ай, ладно. Рицу, это твой первый турнир в роли капитана, так еще и на 6 ВЦ. Каковы вообще были твои ощущения, когда ты узнал, что ты будешь капитаном, и как ты себя чувствуешь в команде, будучи капитаном сейчас?
Ну, я посмеялся, конечно, забавно было. Особенно учитывая то, что я это узнал, типа, на фестивале 6ВЦ. Мне подолог пишет, типа, Рицу, не смотри анонс, подожди, пока закончим матч, типа, вот. Ну, типа, ну, даже не знаю, не уверен вообще в своих капитанских способностях. Ну, типа, я так готовлюсь к матчу, выставляю план, типа, пытаюсь поддерживать тиму, но все-таки мне довольно часто нужна хелпа от самой тимы, так что это больше командная работа, скажем так.
Мгм. Вот в плане хелпы, кстати, хотел спросить. Ваш прошлый матч был против Индонезии, и даже вот на пикем стриме у нас многие ребята, как Фокси и Майджи, они даже предсказывали то, что вы выиграете. Но можешь вообще рассказать, что пошло не так, потому что 6-0 это явно не то, чего мы ожидали, и будет ли вообще такое повторяться еще в будущем, потому что если да, то ну, это будет печально довольно.
Ну, да. Это началось, типа, после того, как мы узнали, в каком сейсинг играет, ну, в каком он состоянии. Вот. Посмотрели, чуть подумали, ну и поняли, что что-то вообще матч этот не особо идет у нас. А особенно после того, как начали отлетать 4-0, то мы уже просто начали фаниться, по фану играть. Я вместо протекта, типа, взял на мод второй, чтобы Пичу вышел поиграть. Вот. Ну и на фримод втором ты, в принципе, сам видел, там два флешлайта.
Да-да-да,
Вот.
помню такое.
Я по фану чисто на хардроке захотел поиграть, потому что мне карта понравилась. Вот. Так что
Хорошо.
так.
В таком случае, каковы твои ожидания от матча с Польшей? Все-таки по сидингу квалификации вы прям очень близкие. Они 8-е, вы 7-е. Да и в принципе у Польши и Украины, как ты знаешь, постоянно были сложные матчи против друг друга на прошлых 6ПЦ и 6ЕЦ.
Да, ну, как я говорил, наверное, уже, я думаю, что очень близко будет. Будем постоянно брейкпоинтами размениваться. Вот. Может, даже до ТБ дойдет.
Мгм.
Вот такие, в принципе, у меня ожидания.
Окей. Что ты
Вот.
хочешь сказать Польше вообще перед матчем?
Арм. Даже не знаю. Да ничего. Начо передает привет.
Отлично.
Все.
Так и запишем. Ну, хорошо, тогда, думаю, можно уже ключевой вопрос задать. Как ты знаешь, Украина 2 года подряд даже с сильными составами занимала топ-7, топ-8. И полуфиналы для прошлых составов Украины всегда были каким-то неким барьером, через который они не могли пройти. Каковы твои ожидания от самого 6WC, и думаешь ли ты, что вы сможете сделать то, что не удавалось сделать до этого никому в Украине?
Ну, вообще играбельная, сетка играбельная. То есть Польша, потом после Польши либо Китай, либо Мексика определенно, как бы можно будет нормально, нормально поиграть, нормально даже в теории в финалы пройти. Вот, но, как я уже говорил, это сложно будет. Ну, будем
Хорошо.
стараться как бы.
Да, вот, это главное. Тогда с таким настроем я желаю тебе и всей команде удачи в самом матче, и пусть победит сильнейший. А на этом, пожалуй, наше интервью будет заканчиваться. Всем спасибо за просмотр, и всем пока. Спасибо, Рицу, что пришел к нам, и еще увидимся.
Спасибо, всем чмоки.
Ukraine and Poland, countries that have been rivaling each other for years. Rosters have changed, outcomes have changed, but the rivalry has been constant. Poland beat Ukraine in 6WC3 but lost in 6WC4. Ukraine beat Poland in 6EC24 but lost in 6EC25. Currently, it is a tie, 2-2 by the match outcomes. And to break the tie, they get a perfect opportunity to play against each other here. The result of this match will determine who will emerge victorious in the war that has been going on for more than 2 years. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and join us for a ride to watch the El Clasico of Europe. Winner will take it all and advance to top 8. Loser, on the other hand, will leave the tournament tragically. You are watching Ukraine versus Poland match, seed 7 versus seed 8, on the Project Hexagon channel in 6-digit World Cup 2025. Today in the studio to commentate the match, you will have me, Philoxen, your 6EC and 6WC admin, and joining me today is the person who probably knows 6-digit scene the best out of anyone here. It's gonna be Foxy. Foxy, you can take it away now.
Hello, thank you for the intro, Shakespeare, as we move into the Ukraine versus Poland match. I mean, this match, as was mentioned, this is a very historic match for both of these teams. They've been at battles constantly, and even outside of tournaments like 6EC, 6WC, a lot of Polish against Ukraine teams have been kind of meeting pretty often. So seeing them come here for what is basically the kind of tiebreaker is very interesting to see, and I'm very excited to see how this one goes. This is a match that, if you watch the pick'em stream, you know that we have very high expectations for. Ukraine is one hell of a team. They have Fadalog, who is arguably the best player in the tournament. There's players like Zerelia, Edex, Delete, etc. that are up there as well in contention, but Fadalog absolutely in the top 5 at minimum. And the rest of the Ukraine roster pretty decent as well. Overall, the roster is just a very strong team. They don't really have that many great weaknesses. Their biggest weakness is Fadalog being the hyper carry that they are. And on the other side, on the Polish side, you have kind of the exact opposite, where they don't really have a single hyper carry. They have some players that stand above the rest, such as Kratuba and Tianling, who have been performing insanely well throughout their last year in tournaments and are pretty new, with some very experienced players in Itnes, Quenti, and Xabe on the team as well. So, very interesting match here. These teams are evenly matched, and it is kind of a battle of can Ukraine's carries get enough support to beat what is one of the most well-rounded teams in the tournament. Poland doesn't really have a weakness. They can kind of just fill a roster on anything and everything as long as they can just play the skill set, at least a tiny bit.
Indeed, Foxy, well said. But with that, protects and bans were delivered really fast by both of the teams. Poland protecting Hidden 1. They are generally stronger on Hidden than Ukraine, I believe. Got top 7 on both Hidden 1 and Hidden 2 in quals. And I'm pretty sure comparing their scores to the qual scores is pretty much relevant, as quals is the most just like similar SR that this pool is gonna have. 5.4 quals, 5.5 semis, so kinda makes sense. For Ukraine, on the other hand, it is your DT3. Ukraine is overall a super strong Tactic Mechanics team. They got top 3 on DT2, top 2 on DT3, and therefore Jovanekai is gonna be your protect from them. Poland is banning Hidden 2. Seems very logical from them. They did ban it last time in quarterfinals, and Ukraine is getting rid of Hidden 3. And now we're finally gonna be jumping into our big phase, and it looks like Haruk 1 is gonna be the way for Team Ukraine, which makes sense. Honestly, just comparing their previous picks against, for example, Indonesia, they did pick Hard Rock 3, and overall in their previous matches, they have also been trying to opt Hard Rock here. So Hard Rock 1 is gonna be your custom song. Foxy, take it away.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of sad to see Hidden 3 go, as that is a custom song itself as well.
No.
But at least we get to see the Hard Rock 1 still in the pool as it's gonna get played. Picked by Ukraine, it's a very risky pick. To be fair, I am not sure about this one. I mean, as we said, it is kind of Ukraine is very good at anything mechanics, and Hard Rock 1, it's a Fox Stevenson song. It is just raw mechanics. But with the combo of Tian, Link, Quenti, and Pertuba on the other side, the 3 main people that I think we're gonna see on a Hard Rock map like this, it's a very interesting pick. Those 3 are very good on Hard Rock, especially Quenti if you've been watching them for some time, such as in 6WC3 or ZAT or any tournament that they've played. They can just combo anything, even if it is with 60% accuracy, such as the Core 6-3 Finals No Mod 5, but even then, I think this is an interesting pick. I think Ukraine does take this one just by the tiniest little bits of margin that they can get. But even then, I'm not sure on this one. This could very easily backfire on them. This does not seem like something that the Ukraine wants to go into first. I feel like something in the sense of, for example, DT2 or No Mod 5 might have been better, but we will just have to see the comfortability on the players, as I believe we have most of the rosters in. We have the Krituba, Tianling, Quenti core on the side of Poland, with Cuba filling in as well, a decent Hard Rock player overall. Has played on the 6EC B team for Poland and did very decently there against Fadalog, Wannabe Ritsu, ZQ3, and Zersh, all on the side of Ukraine. Another insanely strong Hard Rock core. So let's get straight into it. Hard Rock 1, a custom map right off the bat into the semifinals. Ukraine versus Poland. Let's get straight into this one.
Indeed, let the show begin, ladies and gentlemen. Hard Rock is definitely that both of those teams can play. They got very similar scores to each other when it came to quals results on Hard Rock 1 and Hard Rock 2. Ukraine did better on Hard Rock 2 but did worse on Hard Rock 1, but overall the seedings from both of the teams were super high, and I'm definitely ready for the show. So far looks like Poland on this intro of the map is doing a bit better in terms of accuracy department. 98 from Tian Ling, same for Quenti. For Ukraine though, it's a couple of 95% accuracy except for Fadalog. And with that, we are finally gonna be seeing a build up to the first KI, and there the magic will happen.
Yeah, getting into this video. See Kuba and Quenti finding a break on this build-up. Not what you want to see when you're on the side of Poland, especially not a map like this. It's only 3 minutes, but it's very consistent. Quenti finds another break, giving Ukraine a pretty big advantage, but they find their own breaks. ZQ3 and Ritsu all finding breaks on their own, 2 FCs to 2. But Cuba, with that support, is going to be allowing Poland to slowly bring this one back, but it's still a very close battle. ZQ3 finding another break, Cuba finding a break, and now it's dead even once again as Ritsu finds himself a break too.
Indeed, man, those kick slider sections are catching many players off guard so far. Everyone's holding, never mind. 4 breaks, 3-way break from Poland, double break from Ukraine, and those FCs on Fatlock and Serge just found breaks. There is only one FC, and it is Kretuba. He is going off right now. ZQ3 is trying his best, but he just lost the support combo. It's now just Serge with 100 combo and no one else on the side of Ukraine. While Kretuba is emerging victorious so far, halfway through the map, carrying his team.
Yeah, Kretuba's currently the player to be looking out for. He's a very consistent player, and he's been very good in tournaments on just anything you put him in, especially mechanics on a map like this is right up his alley. So moving into yet another build-up, we don't see any breaks so far. We get into the streams. There finds a break right before it, but that's the only break we see as the build-up comes in, as Kretuba holding through the harder tech section. Tian finding themselves a break. But currently Poland, with that FC and the support from Quenti as well, is going to be taking this by a 200k almost, with Kretuba's score just growing so exponentially quickly.
But never mind, Kretuba just found the break. This is exactly what Ukraine needed. 170k score difference, but Fadalok with almost 400 combo, though his supports just fell down. And now it's only him against the world. There is a still really solid combo from Quenti, 470 combo. He is countering Philoxenia right now, right here, and this is what Poland needs. Even if you don't have an FC, the player who was FCing, you still have those supports. Quenti, one of the most experienced Polish players. He was all the way back there in 6WC2024, and now he is in once again to show dominance. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, a breakpoint for Team Poland. 1.0 to their side, and I believe Quenti and Kretuba definitely being the heroes for the country on this map.
Yeah, those scores from Quenti Kretuba are just insanely good. You do have on the other side, you have Fadalog coming in with 560k and a very impressive score itself as well. But it unfortunately just was not enough against the combination of Kretuba and Quenti, as this map comes to a close. Poland taking a breakpoint by 200k. This is what I was scared of with this map getting picked so early. And now we move into a pick for Poland, with Poland having the world as their oyster to some degree, with a lot of options. It is kind of hard to pick into Fadalog, to be fair. It's especially a team like Ukraine, which can pretty much support them on a lot of things. But I do believe that we'll have to see something a little more consistency-based, honestly. I think something like No Mod 1, Free Mod 1 could come in here.
Yeah, could be. Honestly, I think this is a stereotype that people have, talking about Poland, that like really great consistent team. But honestly, Foxy, if we just take a look at previous matches, they both used to just pick tapping and hard rocks, but now Poland finally deciding to try and abuse Ukraine on Free Mod 1. Which is, I believe, another custom map that we have. This map is 200 BPM, and it is very challenging. Your awkward aim, definitely something that Poland can pretty much abuse Ukraine on, as Ukraine, once again, I mean, the tradition is here. Ukraine still is a bit struggling on their consistency picks, especially like No Mod 1. Everyone remembering that funny clip of Ukraine just not having any FCs and No Mod 1 last year. This year, I guess, the situation is kind of the same, even though it's better, but still. Poland, I believe on paper, they are way more stronger than Ukraine when it comes to consistency checks and just raw aim.
Yeah, I mean, you have a few players here that kind of come to mind when it comes to an A map like this. You have Itnas, who's gonna probably be playing hidden on this, and is, I believe, the most experienced player up there with Quenti, who both played 6WC1. I'm not sure if Quenti played, I know Itnas did.
Ooh.
So Itnas, the most experienced player in terms of World Cups in this match so far. But with that, this pick, definitely something Poland likes. Poland really likes to go into modded picks. They really like to just have the core of their hidden and hard rock players. We saw this in 6WC3, where they had the core of, I believe it was Quenti and Olkwi on any free mod, and it was one of the most terrifying combinations on free mod that year as well. And this year, while they don't have Olkwi, unfortunately, they do have the Itness Kretuba combo, who is a very strong combo as well on basically any kind of awkward aim or any aim map with mods. And they do have the support from other players. Quenti on the hard rock if they really need them. They have someone like Sabe for the hidden as well. And then no mod, they have a lot of players that can fill. Namely, someone like Quenti if they don't end up going Hard Rock, or Cuba, or also Tian, who I think might honestly go into Hard Rock here as well. This might honestly be a double Hard Rock from Poland. And on the other side, with Ukraine, you will be having a Fatalog most not playing, from the looks of it.
Ooh. Yeah.
Interesting to see.
Foxy said it. Foxy thought bro was perma-loving,
Yeah,
but
no,
he
I'm
is
sorry.
not.
Fatalog is just one of those players that you assume doesn't leave the lobby on any team.
No, I totally agree with that, but looks like Rubiklev fanboy is gonna be stepping in instead of him, and no Fatalog. And Foxy, when it comes to just skill set variety, I think Poland, they have all the players with tourney experience, so they definitely know what it means. While for Ukraine, you still have some new blood like Rubiklev, Fanboy, and Password. Those two are definitely really promising, but it might catch them off guard. And without Philoxenia, we are gonna be starting our custom mapped only a spoonful, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. You're in a Bakumori map. The tournament dose of that artist is here. Cuba and One is gonna be finding breaks. There is still skip button on the POV of Rubiklev fanboy, but otherwise it is a 3-way for both.
Yeah, currently Poland slightly in the lead by accuracies. Accuracy on Poland overall is just looking incredibly strong. You have Kratuba on the hidden Hard Rock, actually. They do go the double Hard Rock with one hidden. Xabe filling in the hidden Kratuba, hidden Hard Rock, and Quenti with Hard Rock. And on the other side, you have Ritsu on the Hard Rock with Riviclia Fanboy and CQ3 on the hiddens. Ritsu did find a break early on, and it is kind of biting them currently. But Xabe finding a break on the hidden, ZQ3 trading that break. Hidden players fall down. But currently Poland in the lead. They love any kind of break from Poland, from Ukraine. That accuracy, especially on Kratuba, is currently just dragging them forward so hard. Riviclia Fanboy finding themselves a break. And now Poland 150k in the lead, increasing as Kratuba and Quenti hold those 99% FCs on Hard Rock.
And those Hard Rock players on the side of Poland are just going off right now. Kratuba definitely improved throughout the years. Not only that, but in 60C as well. Comparing to that, he is definitely way stronger than he was before. Serge is gonna be finding a break, one of the few FCs left on the side of Ukraine. Now just wanna be Ritsu with a reverse choke against double FC. Hard Rock players are definitely way stronger on the side of Team Poland. They already proved us that on Hard Rock 1. And no hidden players, no Hard Rock players except for Ritsu are still fighting, but 500k score difference, I don't think it's gonna be enough as we are jumping in the end of the second KI.
Yeah, 1/3 of the map left, but Poland 700k in the lead and still growing. With that triple FC, Quenti, Kratuba are just kind of going crazy on this one. Cuba as well, we kind of dismissed him. He did miss in the beginning very early on, but he has built up. And his combo currently on the Nomad looking very good as well, as Ritsu finds themselves a break, finding a slider break, almost a full reset on the side of Ukraine. Now it's just CQ3 with any sort of combo against the core that is Kratuba Quenti. They are dropping accuracy, but the combos there, 1 million score difference getting into the ending here. And with that, Poland kind of just going crazy on this one, as I believe it's almost going to be 1.3 mil difference in favor of Poland here. It might even crawl up to 1.4 million.
Poland really started trying a lot harder after that loss against Canada in the upper bracket. Now they are shredding through the loser bracket. Kratuba and Quenti double FC in the map with Hard Rock both having 1 million score, 97 and 98% accuracies. This is exactly, ladies and gentlemen, how your first pick should look like. In a very dominant manner, almost 1.5 million score difference. And now things are going really well for Team Poland. 2-0, Ukraine though, now they need another point. They need their first point just to get that moral boost because they already lost one. And what do you think it will be, Foxy?
There's very few things I think it can actually be. I don't know what Ukraine can realistically pick in a safe way. The thing is, Ukraine has a few picks. Obviously, they have things like Nomad 5 and DT2, and Poland, if they have a weakness, it is definitely speed. That is their weakest skill set, but saying Poland's weakest skill set is not saying much when they have players such as Adik and Kratuba on their side, who prosper on these kinds of maps. So while I think that speed of some kind, most likely just raw tapping speed or finger control speed, such as DT3 or DT2, honestly any of the DTs that's not DT1, are a good option. But at the end of the day, you are still playing Poland, and every pick you're playing is just on Poland's terms if they want to let you live with it. So very difficult to pick anything here. If they want to, they can go no mod 2, which while Poland will probably get at least 2 FZs on, I will probably say it's gonna be Kratuba and most likely Cuba, who are gonna FC that, so you do kind of have to contend with that, but it's an option, and they go into DT2, going into the raw speed, which is one of Poland's biggest weaknesses.
Indeed, I think this is way better than no mod 2 option because Poland, they did get top 3 on no mod 2 in quals somehow, while Ukraine only got seed 8 on that. But comparing to DT2 performance in quals, this is definitely a Ukraine favored pick. Just high BPM check is something that Ukraine has been good at throughout years. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, Pekko and Miko. You know the map if you are an old tourney 6-digit player, because this map has been around like 2 or 3 years ago. 270 BPM burst. There is also a short finger control section, I would say, but besides that, this map is just the purest raw speed that you can have. And yeah, this is definitely a great way to show why you are seed 3, why you are one of the best high BPM tapping teams. And Ukraine is gonna be sending in Fadalog, finally joining the lobby after that disappearance of Fadalog on Free Mod 1. Surf, Rikle Fanboy, and Wannabe Ritsu are gonna be in once again. So Fadalog is gonna be playing instead of Password this time around. For Poland is gonna be Addict, your tapping player, as expected. Already showed some crazy performances in 6EC, TMing as well with Kratuba and Cuba for the overall consistency that this man has. I believe got the highest seeding individually outside of Poland in quarterfinal stands, got top 22 or something like that. Definitely the core player of Team Poland. And with that, we're finally gonna be seeing good luck, have fun in chat.
Yeah, this is kind of Ukraine's only turning point. If they lose this pick and go into another one of Poland's picks, which is most likely gonna be a similar map to Free Mod 1, they do kind of start to get a little lost on what to do. They do kind of put themselves in the same situation that we saw them in with Indonesia, and they just need to get at least a point on the board. As we get into this, we do see a little bit of an accuracy advantage on the side of Poland for now, but it is very early in the map. This map does very quickly pick up. This does not let you rest even for a second, no adjustment time, as it's going to the side of Ukraine, but kind of just flip-flopping between both sides. No breaks so far, everyone's holding. Ukraine looking very comfortable, especially Wannabe Ritsu and Zersh with those 97s. That's Kratuba, first one to find a break.
Indeed, Kratuba and Addict not having full combos definitely favoring Ukraine as we finally get in the first guy so far. Everyone is hitting those, already 50k score difference. Yep, Ritsu is definitely doing his best, but now finding the break. It's now 2 versus 3 FCs on the side of Poland. Addict also recovered, so it's gonna start shifting towards Poland pretty soon. It is already shifting towards them. 30k score difference, it now inching 10k. But with the break from Addict, the situation is now evened out pretty much. And now, with the end of the first KI, we're getting to a more free section, another 100 combo that is gonna be very much accessible. But after that, Foxy, we're gonna jump in the hardest finger control section of the map, and I'm pretty sure this is gonna be really tough for the players.
Yeah, I mean, currently Ukraine is kind of just running away with it. They have that triple FC. Ritsu as well recovering very nicely, and accuracies overall looking very decent. Poland is in the lead with accuracy by a pretty big long shot, honestly, but going into this finger control section, it's not really going to end up being on the accuracy, it's going to be on who can hold. Cuba finds himself a break, and now Triple FC on the side of Ukraine, it's holding through Fadalog, Ritz finding breaks, Kratuba Addict finding breaks, and it's just Tion Ling against the double FC of Zersh Livia, but Tion finds himself a break, and Ukraine double FC taking the Zersh finds himself a break, but it does not matter. Livia, the hero for Ukraine, the hero they needed, is still holding the FC after the hardest patterns in the map.
the new blood of Team Ukraine, Fatlock, Serge, and Rizzo, all of them fighting breaks. But Riviglia, this is his first tournament, and he is FC in DT2 in semifinals, 5-point finals are full. Will he emerge victorious? Will he lock in that FC? Is the question how far he can go for now. As we're getting to the last KI, it's his show right now, as everyone on both sides of Ukraine and Poland, except for him, have already fell down. And now he is approaching 1200 combo, and he is doing it, looks like.
That is a very good FC. This is the kind of thing that I was talking Ukraine needs. They needed this kind of point where they just absolutely dominate Poland. And this DT2 absolutely did that in the perfect sense. Poland, not the greatest high BPM team. We're seeing it here as their highest score is only 727k from Cuba. But Ukraine just more consistent, better overall, having those higher peaks. And with that, we're getting into another pick for Poland. Currently, Ukraine is on the front foot. They are getting their momentum back. They got their bearings. And now, as we go into Poland's pick, most likely going into another A map, Ukraine is going to have a pretty hard time here. But they can do it. It just highly depends on what Poland's feeling and how this one's going to go and how their mental is doing as well. Because Ukraine is a pretty big mental team overall.
That is for sure. Honestly, if I were Poland, I would. I just wanted to say some hidden map, but looks like hidden 2 is not gonna be the option, and Ukraine already analyzed Poland. They know that hidden is something Poland has over them in both hidden 1 and hidden 2, just based off quals. So for Poland, honestly, maybe some gimmicky map would work for sure, as they have a better score than Ukraine on 3-mod 1 or quals. So this should work, something like Nomad 6, honestly, if you ask me. But yeah, Nomad 2, actually. I believe this is Nomad 2. This is Louder Than Steel. This is the map that Poland got the highest seeding on in quals. And now they are here to play Louder Than Steel, ladies and gentlemen, your cut version. Less than 3 minutes, but don't get me wrong, this map is very much stamina draining. You can get 1800 combo, almost 2000 combo on the map. Those 190 BPM streams are definitely a no joke for either of those teams. So gonna be another great battle between the two, I feel like.
Yeah, Louder Than Steel. This map has been pulled quite a bit. It has been pulled recently in FFP3 as well, where I believe none of these players played it. So I don't think these players have seen this map too much. I know Fatalog ended up winning that tournament and they did very well. Wannabe Ritsu getting 400k in those qualifiers as well. So Ukraine might not like this map too much actually, looking at the stats from that tournament, but a lot has happened since then. That tournament did happen, give or take 3 or 4 months ago. So if that, Ukraine could have gotten a lot better. They do have a very strong tapping core this tournament, as we've been seeing so far, especially that DT2. So moving into this one, we are seeing Ritsu and Fatalog staying on the side of Ukraine with Kretubak, Sabe, Tian, and Cuba on the side of Poland. A little interesting to not see Adik on this, because I do believe that he is pretty decent in Nomad 2's last I checked. But at the end of the day, if they can get a team, they can get a team. We see Zersh coming in for Ukraine as well, and we're just waiting for that last player from Ukraine. The fourth player that they can put on this, someone who's just good enough on tapping. This map does not let up. This, as you mentioned, this map is insanely hard on the stamina, and despite it not even being 2.5 minutes drain time, it does still have that 2000 combo. And the only time where it really lets up and lets you rest is right at the ending, where it turns into bus sliders. It's gonna be interesting to see, as we'll be slowly starting without a fourth player.
Alright, sounds interesting. Oh yeah, okay, where player question was asked. But honestly, Foxy, if Ukraine wants to take a breakpoint against Poland, I believe Nomad 2 is the map to do such. I still don't understand how they performed not that great comparing to DD2 and DD3 in quals, but I think Ukraine as a tapping team, they of course will have a solid chance to take a point off of Poland and try and make it 2-2 before we start with our second ban phase. But finally, looks like it's gonna be Seising, your gimmick specialist, who is also very well at tapping. We saw him play Nomad 2 and other tapping maps in 6EC. He did really well on them. So very logical lineup from Team Ukraine and for Poland is once again gonna be your most experienced players so far. And yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, you know it, you love it. It's louder than steel. Ryu 5150. Here we go.
Yeah, getting into this one, it's louder than steel. It's your content map. This is the map to draw in those new tournament players that have not seen tournaments before. As we get straight into this, Zersh not loading in. I believe Bancho is trolling us a tiny bit here. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I actually don't know what's happening. I feel, is that a disconnect is my question. Let me actually check the MP link real quick. I believe it might actually be one.
Yeah, that
it is
would
not a
make
disconnect.
sense. It is not.
It's not a disconnect. It seems to be some sort of
Bancho.
internet issue.
Bancho, what are you doing? But so far, looks like a four-way from Poland. Wannabe Ritz and Sasink with those FCs, both having 95% accuracy. Fadilog, the one who missed first out of all, and still we don't know what has happened to Serge because we don't see his score so far. But as we are getting in the first KI, we are seeing 99% accuracies from 3 of Polish players. These guys have practiced the map for sure, and right now they are proving us all wrong. Ukraine, even though they still have those FCs, that score difference is already pretty big, and we're only 1/3 into the map. Everyone is nailing through those streams. No one is breaking, but Sasing is gonna be the first one to fall. Serge, on the other hand, if this guy is FC'ing, there is still a chance for them to win, but yet we don't know what has happened to the guy.
Yeah, I mean, even if Zeus is holding, there is not that much you can do against what is basically a quadruple FC, especially when you don't have an FC on your side. As Ritsu finds himself the break, Battlelog, the only combo as Sasing keeps on breaking. And honestly, no matter what score Zerge has, it is looking very doomed as Poland. On that virtual, I don't even think that's virtual, that is a quadruple FC going through this map with 299%. And this is yet another dominant Poland point. There is 1/4 of the map left, but as the score grows here in the ending, it does not look even slightly feasible for Ukraine to have any sort of chance to bring this back. As the scoreline crosses a million in favor of Poland, Cuba finding himself a break, but it doesn't matter as Poland is currently just heavily dominating Ukraine on the Noma 2.
No, wait, no, I'm sorry. Is this map too easy for Poland? This is like a really good 5.5 SR Noma 2, and they are just shredding through the map. Xabi and Cuba, they might fall, but still there is 10 Ling with almost 99%, supported by Kurtuba with 98. Wannabe Ritz and Sasing, of course, they recovered, but look at the scoreline, 1.5 million score difference. What is happening? Those guys have de-seeded quads. I'm just convinced right now. What are they doing on that? Double FC on the side of Team Poland. This is something that I was not expecting. Even though the seeding that they got on those Noma 2s in previous rounds were still high. Still, this map is harder than all of them. And those two are going off with the crazy supports from both Xabe and Cuba with 600k scores each.
That is a crazy team score. Like, genuinely, that is just crazy. That is a crazy team score to pull out of nowhere, basically, in semifinals of all places. 3.1 million against what I believe. I actually don't know what's happening, honestly. Ukraine hasn't technically lost because Zerch has not finished playing.
Oh.
The Peeling is just not displaying this map as finished, but I mean, regardless of what Zerch got, they lost the map. Even if Zerch SS'd with like maximum spinners you could get, it would still be a loss. So Poland still takes the point, just Peeling is refusing to agree that the map has ended, unfortunately. But either way, that is another point for Poland. Poland has taken 2 points in an incredibly dominant fashion so far. Taken both of their picks by above 1.3 million, which in semifinals against a team like Ukraine, who is generally very strong, it's a very good performance, and so far Poland has been pulling through, showing why these players were not permitted to play last year and why them playing this year is the show of dominance that they needed. As we get into the second ban phase with, I believe, Ukraine starting us off.
Indeed, there is nothing Ukraine could do on that map, but now the question for them is, what other map they might want to get rid of. Honestly, if you ask me, Ukraine symbolically lost to Poland in 6EC on no mod 1 and got second place. That was the last map they got eliminated on. And I'd say no mod 1 is an okay option to get rid of, but still, I'm not Ukrainian captain. They might have different strategies, and we will see how this goes for Poland though. Well, there is a speed map left, I believe, which is our no mod 5. I think Poland will want to just ban the map, as Ukraine, even though no mod 2 performance wasn't that strong from them, no mod 5 is something they can very well play. And honestly, this is another map that can be a threat for Poland, just like the DT2, the only map that Ukraine has won so far. But so far, looks like not even a discussion is going on about those bans, because they are just discussing about Serge getting disconnected, or what is it?
It seems like Bancho is just not a fan of Zersh today, as I don't think he never
man.
loaded in, and I don't think he can disconnect. But anyway, I believe that's just gonna be an MP kick from the referee here.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I think that's just what's gonna happen here. Okay, yeah, they ended. Okay, wait, let me check MP Link. MP Link didn't update. I don't know why. It did. Never mind. Yeah.
It did. Bancho, what are you doing? Anyway.
Wait, Tuba also didn't load in. What?
Oh, huh?
He's not on the MP Link.
The guy
Poland still
FC
win.
for nothing.
Yeah, no, he's not on the MP Link.
Oh, what are we doing? The guy literally put all his efforts into the map just to not get that score in match. But yeah, anyway, we saw what happened on stream. We pretty much know the outcome. It's 3-1, ladies and gentlemen. Ukraine is 3 points away from getting eliminated by their biggest enemy throughout the years. And this is so far not looking good for them at all. Of course, we have seen some comebacks throughout 6WC, but those have been happening really rarely. Will Ukraine be one of the first ones to make a comeback against Poland or not? Is the open question for the rest of the match. But once again, it looks like we have a bit of stalling right here, because the second ban phase is not starting.
What is? It doesn't matter if Kurtuba FC, they still win the map even without Kurtuba. What are we? Okay. Anyway, I think. Okay, let's get into what we think is gonna get banned, because I think they're just gonna start soon. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I think they're just gonna add it to stats later, whatever. What Ukraine is banning? Ukraine's first ban. Ukraine probably just wants to get out consistency or aim. That's something that they kind of struggle with. We saw it on the free mod 1. So, I mean, as you mentioned, no mod 1. That would be a very poetic map for Ukraine to go out on, or to beat Poland on. But I think that could be a very possible ban. You could also have something such as DT1 get banned, although Ukraine is a pretty big fan of anything DT. Which actually could be a ban from Poland, to be fair, banning DT1. But I am not sure too much. They have a lot of options.
Oh, for sure, dude. Honestly, DT1 would be a really fun map to play. I think DT1 would be very much RNG, and I would definitely love to see that. But looks like never mind. It's gonna be your free mod 3 ban. Ipso, no! The map by Amamiya Kokoro. Your OWC winner is not gonna be presented on today's stream, unfortunately. Man, we are getting rid of so many of those custom maps, such a shame. But yeah, anyway, that free mod 3 was a flow, kind of low BPM tapping, like mid BPM tapping, that we are not gonna be seeing, which is reasonable from Ukraine. I'd say just trying to get rid of any sort of free mod is very much logical from them after what we saw on that free mod 1. For Poland though, the question is still valid. What are they going to ban? My prediction is Nomad 5 or Nomad 6, because they already banned Hidden 2, so another gimmick map, but definitely not your free mod. I would not say they would ban free mod. Hard Rocks are also pretty beneficial for them because Poland just picked Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 3 in their previous match. Ukraine, on the other hand, they did not ban hard rocks because Ukraine is surprisingly also really good on those hard rock maps. They pick hard rock every once in a while, and therefore those slots are still open.
Honestly, it kind of just feels like with Poland, they just ban anything there they don't want to play. Because like with a roster like Poland, we mentioned this before, but they're a very well-rounded roster. Like outside of the top 3 seeded teams, that being US, Indo, and Philippines, they are probably the most well-rounded roster. And they do indeed go for a no mod 5 ban, getting that speed out, which makes a lot of sense. Ukraine, very good speed team. Poland, a little lacking. But right now, in the pool, just looking at the whole, I don't think there's a high BPM tapping map here for Ukraine to use. Outside of the protected DT3, so Ukraine might be getting a little lost here. They have some options. And obviously you can't always just go into gimmick against Poland, because Poland's gimmick has always been a little on the weaker side than their other skill sets. But overall, it is kind of looking like Poland has the free reign here, as we'll be getting back into the picking phase with what I believe is going to be Ukraine's pick, and Ukraine needs to get some kind of point on the board. I don't think DT3 is the call, because you have, I believe there's another ban phase, there's not, I'm stupid. But DT3 is possible, there is a possibility of something like DT1, or even, honest to god, no mod 6 could be a thing if you believe Fatalog can play it well enough, but they go into DT3, they're getting their guaranteed point, which honestly in this game state makes a lot of sense. I agree with this pick a lot.
Yeah, dude, this DT3 though, I must say, it's not your typical finger control map. It does have a lot of finger control, but not in the classic way that you would expect to see it on DT3, as this map is your swing finger control map. And still, Ukraine did protect it. It is very much finger control draining, but this map only consists of doubles, and those doubles are just put in such patterns that you would not expect them to see on, and just because of the density of those doubles, it is really easy to break on. I remember this map just being a really challenging map like 3 years ago in tourneys, but we will see how the new gen players actually manage to handle the curse of this map, as this is Mason Das, Yawana Haki, and so far looks like all the players actually entered the lobby. We're gonna be seeing a first appearance of Kidzaga. Serge, Wannabe, and Fatalog, your veterans are here for Poland. Xabe, the captain, just left the lobby, but otherwise Tian, Lane, Cuba, and Adik are here, and Krituba for the carry right here, as he is probably the strongest route having player on the side of Team Poland. But with that, we will see how this goes.
Yeah, currently kind of looking at Ukraine as being the very favorite team. Just the trio of Ritsu, Fatalog, and Zerge is so insanely strong. On the other side, we did see Tian and Cuba actually leaving the lobby. So I'm not sure who's gonna be coming in. I don't know many other people on on their team that can do this. We do see Itness coming in, which does make sense, and Cuba's returning as well.
Ooh.
Might just be a difference of Tian and Itness, how comfortable they are. They are both very good on speed, which does make sense for Itness to play as well. So moving into this DT3, we are going to be seeing Ritsu, Fatalog, Zerge, and Kidzaga against Krituba, Itness, Adik, and Cuba on the side of Poland. A very strong speed core, but can they hold a candle to the Ukraine, a team that took the DT2 from them in such a dominant fashion, leaving them in the dust, bloodied from the battle? Let's get straight into this with Ukraine. Ukraine's Protect.
Indeed, I'm pretty sure we will be seeing a lot of accuracy drops on this map. This is definitely something that's going to be challenging not even for Poland, but for the Ukrainians as well. For example, Kidzaga and Serge having 93% accuracies only. Fatalog being the best finger control player on the side of Team Ukraine. Adik and Cuba with 97 and 96 respectively. But so far, looks like those other players are definitely struggling on the map, as we are getting in the first case. So far everyone is holding, no one is dropping. Fatalog gonna be the first one to fall. Actually, this is not something that I would expect from Ukraine to do, and with that, Poland not even the accuracy advantage, but also the combo advantage. 3 FCs versus 1 as Wannabe Ritsu and Serge are fighting those breaks. Kidzaga being the only FC once again. The new blood of Ukraine being the last hope for them. How symbolical. And Poland with those veterans just... Yeah, bro, they're nailing through those patterns and Kidzaga being the last one to fall on the side of Team Ukraine. And this is basically it.
Yeah, I mean, right now Poland is just that double FC, Adi, Kretuba. It's such a strong core, and this being Ukraine's protect, it's not looking good for them. Ukraine heavily underperforming this one from the looks of it, as Kretuba, Adik are just pulling ahead, pulling through as they hold that double FC. Are we gonna see a double FC from Poland? And we're seeing this pattern again, Poland taking a point in such a dominant fashion and taking this on your opponent's protect as well is not something you want to see if you're fanning for Ukraine, as they're going to be losing their own protect by 1 million, very barely not 1 million score.
No, how is this happening? Even Philoxenia, the guy who got like top 3 by individual stats in quals. I've seen almost everything except for one map. Right now, I've seen 0 maps, 600k score on that DT3 on only 5.5 SR pull from him is not something you would want to see from Ukraine. Wannabe Ritsu as well. Everyone, they just got 500 and 600k scores, but those FCs from the carries of the side of Team Poland, Kretuba is definitely going off right now, already securing a couple of FCs before, and right now, just completely shattering the mental state of Team Ukraine at the moment. And Ukraine, there is a thing about Ukraine, right? For the 2 past years, they've constantly been getting top 7 or top 8. And now, if they lose, it's not even gonna be top 8 for them, it's gonna be top 9 to top 12. This is, I believe, something that they really don't want to happen. As we heard on that interview from Wannabe Ritsu, the captain, the pre-match interview that we had. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, if you have time, of course. But yeah, the tradition might be ruined right here, right now, because Poland is definitely preparing for the match. They have done their homework correctly, and right now they are looking forward to nearly sweeping Ukraine, because it's 4-1 and the protect still hasn't been used.
Yeah, Poland is in such a strong position. This is not something you can very easily come back from, to be fair. And they pick hidden one as well, trying to extend that lead. Not something you want to see as Ukraine, because, I mean, even if they kept this protect and Ukraine managed to get a point, as long as Poland gets a single point on the board, they have this open, and it would just be such a strong point for them to take it virtually anytime they would like. So this, going into Hidden 1 against Poland, a team that is notoriously good at Hidden, has been good at Hidden every single iteration that they played in 6CC and 6WC. So going into this map, I believe this is another custom map. I'm not 100% sure. It is not a custom map, never mind. But it is a tapping focused map. It's also AR9, so that does make it a tiny bit dense, honestly. So we might be seeing a few misreads here and there, but going into this, Poland with their own protect, going against Ukraine. Can Poland take this as dominantly as they've been taking their other points, or are they going to falter, and is Ukraine going to be able to take a protect point back from Poland?
Oh, Foxy, this Hidden 1 is definitely something that tests your skill set variety, just pretty much like Free Mode 1. This map, even though it is your Hidden 1, you just see the difficulty name. LMT is another. LMT is the guy who maps your tapping maps. This map has tapping, it has flow, it has finger control, and of course, it has awkward aim. This map is definitely a challenge for both of the teams, but for Ukraine, it will be more difficult. Kidzaga, Password, Sasync, and Fadilog, your hidden lineup is here in the lobby, as Wannabe Ritsu and Serge are not the reading players, not your hidden specialists. For Poland though, it's Kretuba who's in for every single map, same for Cuba, Xabe and Itnes, the 6WC3 duo, your hidden duo that got top 2 in 6 Digit World Cup 2 years ago, is here. They're in for the money. And so far, we are looking forward to see Poland win another point because it is their protect and just secure that match point.
Yeah, going into this, Poland with that old hidden core Krituba as well, who I don't think has left this lobby for a single second today.
Poor guy.
But yeah, Ukraine on the back foot, we're already seeing the accuracies kind of drop overall. But as we get into this, we see Kidzaga first to break as it switches from the streams into the 1/3 here. This map, very difficult in the rhythm sense as well. Xabe finding himself a break as well, but Kidzaga trading that again. And Ukraine is actually on the front foot by accuracy alone, as currently Sasing and ZQ3 are holding those high accuracies to what is just at the highest accuracy of 95 from Itness currently. As Ukraine starts pulling ahead, they are kind of losing thanks to the combos, thanks to Xabe's accuracy and support being more. Sasing finding himself a break, and now it is once again even as Idness finds themselves a break as well. This score is going back and forth all the time here.
Wait, Poland, they have been the ones surprising us on any sort of a pick, but right now, when it comes to their own protect, their rivalry is finally going on equally for the side of the both teams, as we're getting in the second KI. ZQ3 and Fadalog with those FC Sasing finding another break. They need to see someone on the side of Team Poland trade it out, but no, it's gonna be Password breaking. The last FC is gonna be Fadalog. And 70k score difference is to the side of Team Poland. Krituba once again here, he is still in the deal from Team Ukraine. Cuba as well with another FC and now 100k score difference. Fadalog, the carry of Team Ukraine, finally managed to stabilize his performance, but it's not helping at all.
Yeah, I mean, it is letting Ukraine have that chance. If Krituba and Cuba find themselves a breaks, Fadalog could start bringing this back. There's a lot of map left here, and he does have some support from Kitsaga, but he finds a break, and now it's just Kitsaga holding combo.
No, this is not something you would expect. I feel like Fadalog just didn't practice a lot for this specific round, and now just Kidzaga, he is trying his best. Once again, the newbie of Team Ukraine, but looking at on the right side of your screen, it's Cuba and Krituba, Itness as well with 600 combo. How far they can go is the question for this protect. Poland, they are definitely going off right now, as well as on the on every single previous map that they have won. Those differences, those score differences on every map that they have won, they have been just huge, just massive. Even though Cuba found the break, it's Krituba once again being the villain of the story in this match for the Ukrainians. And right now, this is the end, as the title of the map is saying. This is gonna be another map for Team Poland.
One thing I will point out, something I find very interesting, I think this is the lowest scoreline that Poland's taken a point so far, which I find very interesting when it's their own protect. Especially when they took their opponent's protect by almost 1 million. But I mean, a point is a point. Poland up 5-1, a match we expected to be far closer than it has been. Currently in 5-1 as Ukraine getting a pick there on match point. This is life support. They need to get some kind of points, something on the board. But what is it gonna be? They have so few options. I mean, realistically, looking at this pool, what's your options? You can't go free mod 2. That's just a bad idea against Poland. Hard Rock's very risky, as we saw with the Hard Rock 1. No mod 6 gimmick is not something Ukraine loves. And the rest of the no mod pool as well, not something you really love. They go into Hard Rock 2 in the end.
Ooh, tapping, yeah.
Tapping precision might actually work out if Fadalog and Ritsu, how good they are in Hard Rock, tapping and precision all at the same time, actually. This is not awful, but it's still very risky.
Dude, I mean, wannabe Ritsu is your Hard Rock specialist, especially when it comes to Hard Rock 2. But honestly, Foxy, I'm not sure how tapping is gonna favor Ukraine. This is almost the same BPM we had on No Mod 2. This is 200 Normal 2's BPM was 190, but still, the mechanic of both maps is pretty much the same, with the exception that this is CS 6.5. And I'm not gonna lie, picking a CS 6.5 map precision when you are 1 point away from getting eliminated, when you are getting those nerves just building up inside of you, your precision might just play a bad joke against of you. And I think if you are feeling nervous, you're not supposed to pick that map. For Ukraine, of course, they have your stable players. The most experienced ones are here in the lobby, but still, it is a very risky option if you ask me.
I mean, honest to God, at this point, what isn't risky? Because anything you pick is risky, because Poland can fill everything. This is the kind of space where Poland thrives usually. Where Poland, not having those hyper carries or super good skill sets, doesn't really have much to do in the early game of a match. But once you get past the second ban phase, that's where Poland starts to shine, as you get that loss of picks. And suddenly Poland just feels everything better than those teams that are hyper specialized, as we will probably see in the future matches that Poland's gonna be playing. And as we've seen overall with Poland in the past couple of years, they've been really good at this mid-game to end-game kind of way. Whereas Ukraine is a very good early game team, but this time around they faltered slightly and now they're suffering the consequences. Is they're gonna be forced into Hard Rock 2? Which is not something you want to be forced into in 5-1 situation.
Oh, poor guy, Cuba. Still is here, of course, for the team spirit. I think Poland, they have really good mentality. But right now, Ukraine, they need to try and hold those combos. The map is, by the way, a TV-sized long map by the drain. And this is gonna be very risky. Ukraine, they have their lives on the line. And right now, the accuracy is favoring Poland once again. Triple break. Almost the entire top row is missing, including Fadlock and Cuba, the carries of both of the teams. Same for Password. Sergeant wannabe Ritsu against the 3 side of Team Poland. Sergeant's gonna be breaking. Now just wannabe Ritsu, the team captain, against a triple way FC. This is not looking great at all.
Quinty does find a break, giving them a little bit of breathing room, and Ritsu does have that support from Fadlock and ZQ. But Ritsu finds themselves a break, and now no FC on the side of Ukraine as Kretuba and Tian, the Hard Rock duo, the Hard Rock aim and tapping mechanics duo that we've been seeing throughout the tournament, is holding their FCs. Kretuba finding himself break, Cuba breaking as well. And Ukraine is actually taking this back because of the overall combos. It's just Tian on the side of Poland, but that doesn't matter when you're fighting 3i combos. Password does not find a break. It was Bencho, and now Ukraine's actually in the lead, getting close to the end of the map. Cuba finds another break, and they are bringing this back 120k in their favor. And if Tian misses at any point, this map is over for Poland. But there is still a chance. If Ukraine falls, it is possible. Is Poland gonna be able to take this? I don't think there's enough time. And with Tian's break, it is Ukraine's point. They take a second point.
Oh man, the heavy tapping outro favored Ukraine with a break from Tian. Fadlock might fall, but still, it is almost 500k score difference. And Ukraine is still in the game. They finally warmed up enough. And now it is in their interest to start the comeback. Password and Serge, those two players. Serge, definitely your aim specialist, is almost top scorer in the lobby. And Password, once again, another new player for the side of Team Ukraine, is showing why he got top 3 in tryouts just after Serge and Philoxenia. And right now, 2-5 match score. But the bad thing is Poland is picking the next map. They don't have their protect, but still, just overall, I believe Poland is more stable right now when it comes to all the maps that are left, because you have two consistency maps like Nomad 1 and DT1. Then you have your control maps like Nomad 4 and Nomad 3. Of course, Hard Rock 3 is hide and seek. This is another challenging map. And Nomad 6, once again, Appetite, the map that is very honestly draining when it comes to finger control. So honestly, if I were Poland, I would maybe try and go with the map, because Appetite, you're kind of a polyrhythm map, the weird rhythm map that I believe comparing to DT3 is pretty similar, honestly. Those doubles are represented really well here and there on both Nomad 6 and DT3, so that would make sense, but never mind. Looks like Poland is just keeping that tradition. They are going with free mod too.
You know, I was quietly hoping for No Mod 1 purely because it would be insanely funny. But
For Aura.
yeah, for the aura moment, you know, for the aura farm, as if Poland hasn't been doing that by 1 million outscoring Ukraine on a lot of maps. But either way, this pick, I mean, Poland is one of the best free mod teams. They have always been an insanely good free mod team. As we mentioned before, they had the combination of people like Olqui and Quenti in earlier years. And this time around, they have that combination as well. They have Quenti for the hard shocks, they have Krituba for hard shocks, and then Itness and Xabe for the hiddens. So this map, something that Poland absolutely wants. This is a map that Poland will love. And while it's not an easy win, Ukraine does have the easy that they can go into. They can have Sasing playing that easy, and that could very easily start to spiral into Ukraine taking the point. It's not something that I think we'll see. I'm not sure if Sasing's going to be comfortable on this map specifically. This map can get a little tricky in certain sections, but we will just have to wait and see as we slowly move into the free mod 2. Possibly the last map, Poland picking in a 5-2 situation, Ukraine just barely holding on to life support, as we'll be slowly getting into this.
Indeed. This map has a lot of those stop and go patterns, and I believe the overall skill set of the map is just aim and light reading. Sasing, of course, I believe they can play it, but just comparing their Hidden 2 performance where they got 200 or 300k, I'm not sure about the stability of his, and honestly not about Ukraine either, because when it comes to gimmicks, they are not that stable this year around compared to last year. And yeah, hopefully we're gonna be seeing the lineups pretty soon. But this is your another Jackie map. If you didn't have enough gimmick, enough reading in your Hidden 2 that Poland, by the way, decided to ban, you are gonna have at least some tiny bit of this here on Vladivoti. And with that, we're finally gonna be seeing, good luck, have fun in chat, Fandalog, Sasing, Wannabe and Password for Ukraine, Poland, Hubei, Xabe, Krituba, and Quenti. Man, all of their nicknames are starting with a K. No way, like pronouncing. That's actually crazy. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, the last stand of Team Ukraine, 3-minute long map, Prima 2. We are seeing the mod combinations. It looks like for a split second I saw Sasing with easy, Fedalok with no mod for the stable FC, at least one. Then we have Password with Hidden and Wannabe Ritsu, obviously with Hard Rock. For Poland, it's gonna be Cuba with no mod, Xabe with Hidden, and Quenti with Krituba double Hard Rocking once again.
Yeah, Poland just really loves their hard rock. They have Xabe for this kind of reading map, so it makes a lot of sense to put him in. Jackie, a mapper that is very similar to JRE in terms of reading. As we see Fadalok finding the first break, Ritsu and Password found breaks earlier as well when we were loading in. So that's already not giving Ukraine any favors. Just as a reminder, obviously the overlay does account for easy, so we are seeing real-time scores here for Ukraine. And Sasing is currently leading the charge as he is getting up there as outscoring the rest of his team even without multipliers. But Poland finding one break on Xabe right now, but otherwise they have that triple FC, especially the two hard shocks and Cuba with that almost 99, currently on 98.6. Is holding that lead, 250k in favor of Poland as we're getting through the first third of the map. Xabe finding another break, but Ukraine having a bit of recovery, but Sasing finding a break, and that is the final FC for Ukraine gone.
This map with easy is definitely demonical. Sasing was doing God's work, but finally found a break. Just the cursor was not that stable from him. While for Poland, it's a 3-way still. Only Xabe finding a break. Wannabe Ritsu with the recovery finding a break as well. Only Password and Philoxenia are here. We are halfway through the map. And still, those 3 FCs from Poland are not stopping at all. They are proven that they this year are, I'm pretty sure, stronger than Team Ukraine overall. And will this be the end of the battle of Ukraine and Poland that was happening throughout many years with the break from Fadlock? I think this might happen, Foxy, right here in front of our eyes. What do you think about that?
I think that Poland, after 2 years of a battle between Poland and Ukraine, they've been at war with each other. They've been trying their best to take this 2-2. But now, Poland, 750k in the lead. They do have a lot of breaks on their side. They had that triple break, but Ukraine doesn't have the combo to capitalize on it. Cuba finds himself a break as well. Now Poland has 0 combo. With ZQ3 actually having a little bit, but they just needed more combo going into the section. ZQ3 finding a break. And with that, I don't think there's any universe in which Ukraine can manage to come back from this one as we get near the end of the map. Poland, with that insane performance from all of their players, Krituba, the man of the match, performed insanely well, is going to be taking the best of 5. Poland coming out victorious in this rivalry as they move on through the losers bracket into the top 8.
The outcome of this match just set in stone the many years rivalry that has been going on for both of those countries up until the next 6WC. But for now, Poland, they are the overall winners of that crazy rivalry. They can be proud of themselves. Very much deserved. Nice scores from them. 3 million scores over like 5 maps in semis. Bro, those guys, I'm pretty sure they can get to finals if they try really hard. Their next match is gonna be either against of Mexico or I believe China. So another banger match to look out for. But for now, Ukraine are not gonna be getting top 8 this year around like they did in the previous 2 years where they actually got top 7, top 8. So Poland, finally, after those years of losses to Ukraine, they did a huge comeback in both 6EC and 6-digit World Cup. Xabe leading his team and determining that victory. Poland gonna be advancing to the semifinals round 2 stage.
Yeah, congratulations to Poland, and we appreciate it. I don't know how to say this, but Ukraine put up an insane performance. They had a very good runs this year, but it just was not enough. And with that, we'll be ending off the stream. Thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure being here. My name has been Foxy. In the commentary booth, I've had Phil Loxon, and we will be seeing you next time.
Bye bye, have a nice day.